Hello everyone, this is PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to Meet with Moraine. Every month we bring you more exciting details about what is going on over at the Moraine Valley Community College, which you should be very familiar with by this time. I hope you are. And today we have two guests with us. To my far left, my left, your right, is Sarah Gallagher, Assistant Dean of the Center for Teaching and Learning. Welcome, Sarah, today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And to my immediate left is Dr. Ryan Nagel, Dean of Science, Business, and Computer Technology. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sue.
Ryan. It's so nice to have you both here. First of all, there are cycles that schools go through upper level education, and I think sometimes when you're a layperson, all of a sudden, those cycles come kind of fast. So you started your fall semester in August.
That's right.
And that's kind of winding up right now. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
It is.
A little bit past halfway. The students are getting nervous. Lots of work is becoming due.
Okay. So when would that actually end?
So the fall semester will end the week of December 9th. So there's final exams that week.
Okay. So the week of December 9th. And then what we're going to talk about today is two things, a winter session and online learning. So with the winter session, that sounds like you start in January and you end up, in April or May. But that's not true. So that's what I want to point out to everybody. Winter session is something different. Do either one of you want to explain what is the winter session?
Sure, I can talk a little bit about it because it's a new concept even at Moraine. As you mentioned, kind of higher education has cycles. We end in the fall, and then we start up again in the spring. And at Moraine we have 4 weeks between the end of our fall term and the start of our spring term. And we know in working with students and with our populations that there's interest in more flexible scheduling. So we're starting for the first time to offer a winter session that'll be a 4-week session that will start December 16th and it'll end January 10th before the start of our spring semester. Winter will start December 16th actually in Palos Hills.
Okay.
But the thing is, it'll end January 10th, so that's good news for everybody in the Chicagoland area.
It is.
So it'll be a 4-week session. We have 8 courses that we're offering, and 7 of them will be totally online. Because during that 4-week session, the college will be open the first week and the second week, but we are closed for 2 weeks. Our physical campus is closed, but these online courses, the students will be meeting with instructors for those 4 weeks and the 2 weeks that the college is actually, the facility is closed. And they'll be learning all about different subject areas from across the board and then taking that and using it towards their degree or certificate either at Moraine or at another university.
Okay, so these are 4-credit courses, and I would guess that the courses that you are choosing are courses that are somewhat in demand to finish up some particular area that students need.
Right. We're really looking to offer to our general education students. So these are courses that if you fell behind a little bit in the fall, because maybe you had to withdraw from a class or drop a class, or if you want to work ahead and not have as busy of a spring, you can take any number of courses. I can go into some of the specific ones.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to know. What would we be taking?
So we actually have 3 different social science courses from the general education curriculum. One is General Sociology, that's a Sociology 101. Mm-hmm. Another one is Introduction to Psychology, and that's Psychology 101. Mm-hmm. And then we also have Political Science 110, which is about the American national government. From there, we do have one science course. It's an astronomy course. So students will be watching a lot of videos and doing some work online in that course, which astronomy is one of the sciences that can lend itself well to online. Not all of the sciences are as easy at doing that. Mm-hmm. We have a business course in Principles of Marketing, and we have a Introduction to Criminal Justice course. The one kind of unique course that isn't online is a course that we've had for about 10 years at Moraine Valley. It's called Marine Biology, and students learn in the classroom but then actually go to Belize in Central America for about a week, and they go and explore coral reefs. They really get a hands-on learning experience in marine biology.
That seems like it would be very popular.
It's been popular for the last 10 years or so. We've done that typically over spring break, but we think that this would be a better opportunity so they'll leave January 2nd for the travel part, and they'll be back January 10th on the last day of the term.
Wow, okay. Now, which one wasn't online? That one?
That's the only one that's not online.
Okay,
Right.
not online.
Students will be going to they'll be doing some online components before they travel, and they will meet a few times on campus the week of December 16th. But then they're going to be together for about 8 days traveling and exploring, so they'll have a lot of time together, and it's a really unique course that has gone well.
How many people do you take on this sort of thing?
Usually 10 to 20, depending on demand for the year. Historically, it's about probably 15 students has been the average.
That's a nice amount. Well, okay, so I like your the choices, because these are all classes that you need to have, but maybe you don't want to spend as much time doing some of them, particularly if it's not in your major. Like sociology, or if you're not a psych major, you want to get that class in, but you don't want to spend tons of time with it. I mean, that was always my philosophy. So this is great. Now, here's the other thing that and maybe this is only my own viewpoint until I took an online class. I'm thinking, online class? What could there be? How hard is this going to be? It's online. Yeah, it's hard.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
It's not easy. So if you think, I'm going to take these online classes, piece of cake, I'll get my A, no big deal. It is a big deal. You do really have to be engaged in that process. So I think let's talk about that a little bit, because maybe I'm not the only one who had that idea, and I would still have that idea had I not taken some classes that way. I would have thought it was just kind of a, simple way to get your classes done.
That is, I think online learning there's a misconception around it. People think I'm going to take an online course and it's going to be a blow off. It'll be easy. Our online courses are just as rigorous as our traditional face-to-face courses. The same content is covered, assessments, the time, you still need the time. So what online learning does, it allows you the flexibility. So if you're working or you have family or whatever it might be in your life, and you just need that flexibility, but you still need that time management commitment, as well as good communication skills. You still need to do the work, because you're getting the same credit as someone would be in a face-to-face course. They're the same, just they're different because it's delivered online instead of in a classroom.
Exactly, right. So what's great about it is just exactly what you said. It's the flexibility of your time. I know I did a lot of my work, after work. So it was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, or on the weekend. And you didn't have to show up at the class at 9 a.m. or whatever. And that is really great for a lot of people. Do you get a lot of people taking the online classes?
Oh yes, they've become quite popular.
Yeah, our online courses, our enrollment online has increased over the last 3 years. The demand, students really like the flexibility. Our students at Moraine Valley, a majority of them let me back up. So we do have, it continues to grow. The majority of our students also take an online course as well as a face-to-face course, though. So I think there's that flexibility.
A little mixture.
A little mixture of it. And they continue to grow in popularity. We have 144 courses that we offered online this past fall, with over 200 sections.
Wow.
So they are popular.
I would say so. That is really great. With the winter session, as a student, are you allowed to take 2 or 3 classes, online classes, during that winter session? Or is it kind of a one
Sure.
shot?
The winter session technically is part of our spring semester. So there are some limitations to how many courses students can take, or how many credit hours students can take in a semester. There isn't a specific cap on winter session, but this is a 4-week course, which is typically taught in 17 weeks, and you're condensing it to 4 weeks, and you're putting it online. So it's really not advisable for a student to take more than one a course during the winter session, because it will feel like a full load, given the pace that it's going to work at. But like I said, it will count towards spring load. So if a student is taking a course, they will have a little bit lighter spring load than they did previously.
Okay. Or they can I always like to kind of jump ahead, as
Right.
you know, get those classes in so
Exactly.
that I can finish earlier.
That's
you know,
true,
so
too.
it's a time element thing, or an economic. You know, if you wanted to put everything all together, for time commitments, get through the 2-year courses or whatever you were taking, and I think that's a great way to do it too. At least that's what I'd like to do.
We'll see a lot of students doing that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we sign up for the online course. Do you have to have some prerequisites for some of these, or this is just gen ed, so anybody can take them?
Right. These are general education courses, so there aren't any prereqs. You will have to be, of course, we think it will attract some students that aren't maybe currently going to Moraine. So you'll have to, apply to the college and do the admission process. But there aren't any placement tests required because there's no math or English in the offerings. And these are really introductory level courses. Marine biology, there is some prerequisites because of the travel components. You need to have a passport, et cetera, et cetera. And really the consent of the instructor. So if people are interested in joining that class, that's something they wouldn't be able to just enroll in without first speaking with the instructor.
Do you get a lot of students who are, on their break from maybe their own 4-year university, and they're thinking, well, I'm going to be having that break, I'm going to get one of these knocked off of my gen ed. So they come in and apply, and then they just do the one class. And the second part of that question is, does this transfer over to all schools so that they are going to be getting the credit?
Sure, I think we know that this is probably most similar to summer, where we have a lot of students. I think about 1,000 students last summer came from, we call them guest university students. So they live in the community, but maybe they're at ISU or they're at U of I, and they want to take a course that's maybe a little less expensive, and they can transfer it back to their college and get to their degree faster at where they're at. And so we think the winter session will attract that type of student as well. This is kind of a little bit of a pilot. There's only 8 classes right now. A typical semester, like Sarah mentioned, there's over 200 sections. We only have 8 sections that we're trying out right now. These courses, by and large, would be very transferable courses. We are a member of what's called the Illinois Articulation Initiative. So most of these courses have been aligned to that course and will transfer to just about any public university in Illinois, if not private university in Illinois. Of course, each college kind of has their own rules, so students will want to look at our website or their own college's website to see what equivalents these are and how it will transfer to them. But by and large, these will be very transferable courses.
Okay, do your homework though ahead of time,
Right.
because you don't want to go, not that it's not great to just learn for the sake of learning,
Right.
but if you're doing it to get the credit somewhere, you want to make sure that your college or university will accept that. So that's very important to do too. I'm sure everybody knows that who are be taking this. So this is a pilot program right now. I'm guessing you're going to have some great success with that, because everybody, I just think people are looking for another way to keep their education going, and this is great for that. Do you see, if this does become, full of people who are really looking for this, do you see this expanding to, 16, 20 classes or whatever? I mean, because you do have to have someone teaching the class.
Perfect.
And, doing all the work that it takes to
Exactly.
provide that online class, and that's a tremendous amount. You are condensing things, and
Sure.
you're really responsible for a lot of extra work.
Right.
I mean, I know it's part of what you agreed to do, but do you see this as something that would expand?
I think we see the opportunity for expansion here. Obviously, we know this is a busy time of year for people. The holidays, it's a busy time for families, et cetera. But we have looked at, we actually opened enrollment for this earlier this week, and on the first day we had 60 seats filled. So,
Wow.
and that's
Okay.
only, we still have 5 or 6 weeks left of enrollment. Actually, I believe one of the courses already filled up completely within 2 days. So
Wow.
it seems like we're hitting some demand that we thought was out there. We're one of the few community colleges in the Chicagoland area that's offering this right now.
Is that right?
The other colleges that are offering this are at about a dozen sections. So I think that's where we see growth down the line, is maybe doubling it down the road. There are other, throughout the country, this is becoming more of a trend. And there are some large community colleges in Arizona or in Texas that are offering hundreds of sections. I don't think we'll ever get to that, but there's definitely growth opportunity. Like Sarah mentioned, there's an interest in online. Online is growing. And this is just another way that students can use an online course through this time period.
Do you find that, we're talking about students who are maybe previously enrolled either in Moraine Valley or they're in one of the other schools, maybe in the state or out of the state. But do you find it's more like current students, or do you think, because this is new, do you think it will be outside that normal group, like people who maybe are thinking about going back to school or doing it by just a little bit at a time, older students who feel maybe more comfortable with an online experience?
Sure.
Do you think that that could be part of your group that would be part of this?
I think that there's some flexibility. Our average age for online students is actually 24. So
Okay.
there's
A little bit outside that.
just a little bit outside of it, but we have students anywhere from, I think, as young as 16 through the gamut.
Yeah.
So I think people are becoming, as devices are becoming more comfortable and they're becoming easier to use, and online education is becoming more accepted, and it continues to grow, and that flexibility is important, either for people who are looking to complete degrees, transfer, or just need who are just interested in a topic, or looking for professional growth. Online education is becoming more of an option for people.
I was thinking about some people who maybe didn't have a formal education, and they were like, I've always wanted to learn more about political science or astronomy or whatever. This is kind of a non-threatening way to take that. If they didn't get a good grade, it wouldn't really matter, but they just want to learn for the sake of learning. I think maybe you could get a few people like that too.
Yeah. Whenever you open up a new part of the calendar, you might attract a different type of audience, and there could be that possibility. And in addition to the credit courses, we don't have them in the winter session, but we have a lot of community ed courses throughout the year that are, like you said, low stakes. Maybe you're interested in college, but maybe you don't have a lot of background there.
Yeah.
You can go for even a single night or two and learn about a topic.
Yeah, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
How does the cost of something like this compare to, like, if you just went to the brick and mortar building?
Sure. So,
The cost is the same.
It is.
Excluding the lease.
That's
The
right, of course,
biology,
right.
that is not
There's a
the
cost.
same. But so the in-district and out-of-district rates are the same.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not more money or anything just because it's a smaller period
Correct.
of time.
Still,
It's
our
not less
same
money either.
affordable tuition, but still the same affordable Moraine tuition.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. That is so true. Okay, so I guess the other thing is that I think about too is if you're taking a lot of online courses, and I know this winter session time is just starting, but you have online courses beyond this. If you're someone who's just taking online courses, what's the difference in your educational experience compared to someone who's actually there physically with the teacher in the room? How does that experience,
Right.
what does it mean to people who prefer one over the other?
Right.
I think depending on, I think for some people, online learning, you had mentioned, it might, if you're nervous or scared or don't have the time, it provides an opportunity to dip your toes back into education. I think you still need to be disciplined, so you still need to set up, I always say, you can set up a time whenever you want, but you still need to schedule your time to do the course. It allows some people who may be concerned with responding to questions quickly in the classroom, it allows them a little bit more time to reflect on their answers and allow them to do a little bit more research, and it gives them those opportunities, whereas some people are very quick on their feet. You ask them a question, they can other people just need a little bit of time, a little bit more time to reflect on what they're learning, and they may learn differently. They may have to read something and also watch a video and then try it. And sometimes in the classroom, you may be nervous to read out loud. But at home, you can read out loud. If you need to watch the video twice and take notes, that's okay. It's lots of different opportunities.
Right.
Yeah. So if you've never taken an online course, it's worthwhile trying it because maybe that's a great way for you to, especially some of these, what would be maybe more difficult for you, like say for sociology, you think, well, I really don't know a lot about it. That's going to be a little bit harder for me. And you're right. You can reread it. You can watch the videos. You can take your time, let it absorb. What about if you have like questions like, I don't understand what I'm reading. I don't get my assignment. I don't know what to do. It's not like the teacher is standing right there and you can ask the question. How do you handle that if you're taking the online class?
Right. Our instructors at Moraine are so dedicated. You can access them. You can always email them. You can still call them. So if you want to talk, for the students who are in the area, you can still come to campus. If you can't come to campus, you don't have to, but all of those opportunities are still there. There's also discussion boards and online forums where you can, if you have a question, you can post a question and perhaps the professor responds or perhaps another classmate responds to your questions.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so this starts on December 9th.
The fall semester wraps up the week of December 9th with finals.
Okay.
And then the winter session courses will begin December 16th is the
16th.
first day.
Okay.
And enrollment for winter session began for spring semester in general, including winter session, began November 4th for our current students, and then open registration to anybody on November 7th.
Okay. See, that's the thing too. If you're just getting involved in taking some classes, it seems like the spring classes would be offered a little like later. But already you're going to have to get going, apply. If you don't have, if you're not affiliated with Moraine Valley Community College right now, you need to send in an application or do the application online,
Right.
so that you can take the online classes, correct?
Correct.
That's right.
You can't just take them and get credit. All that needs to be done like right now, actually. So start. And it sounds like these classes are going to be popular. So if you are interested in this, you really need to get going on it right now. Before we go, is there anything else our viewers should know about winter session, online sessions, that you'd like to explain?
Sure. As far as winter session, you can go to morainevalley.edu. You can do that right now. And one of our main landing pages is the winter session, so you can click on that and find out all the information, what courses we're offering, frequently asked questions that students might have about the courses and how they transfer, et cetera. Cost, I know we talked about earlier.
Okay.
And if you're interested in any online learning, you could also go to Moraine Valley website under academics, go to online learning. You'll find a list. We'll talk about what online learning is if you have more questions and all the classes that are offered in the spring.
Good. And what if you just want to talk to somebody in person about all of this? Where should you go on campus to do that? You just want to talk to a person face to face.
Right.
Sure. From the winter session page, you can find the faculty members' names, and you can, through the directory, find them if you have a question about the courses. If not, you can also you could contact me.
Okay.
Ryan Nagel. It's Nagel R, Nagler at morainevalley.edu. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or direct you to the right place in regards to winter session.
Okay, just in case there's some confusion, sometimes you want to talk to somebody. Well, this sounds great. Thank you, Sarah and Ryan, for coming in today and explaining all this to us. This is a great opportunity for the viewers to dip their toes into the online learning if you haven't done it before. And it's a great time for you to catch up on some classwork that maybe you fell behind with or you just want to get ahead with. So check out Moraine Valley Community College and go ahead and sign up now. Go, do it immediately. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Meet with Moraine. Bye-bye.